I listened to your EP last night, which is 3 songs,
Yeah.
right? And was it Georgia on my Line?
Mm-hmm.
And then it was a Poinciana?
Poinciana.
Poinciana, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
My wife listens to the Four Freshmen.
Oh, yeah.
And
That's a Four Freshmen chick.
Yeah. So, and then there was one called Love.
Yeah. So it's
Was that one of yours or
no? So are you familiar with like the Robin Hood, the Disney version from the 70s?
Oh God, with Roger Miller?
Yeah, Roger Miller. So Roger Miller wrote and sang most, like I think nearly all of the soundtrack. There's one tune.
I remember. Okay, that's it.
Yeah. And it's from there's like a scene when actually Robin Hood and Maid Marian are getting married under this waterfall, and there's like a big wedding.
There's somebody named Marnie, I think, might have sang it. She sang a lot of the Disney stuff. She was a great singer.
Yeah, and it was my mom would teach violin lessons. She would be down in the basement teaching for hours on end, and so in order to keep us occupied, she'd go up there and put on that movie and stick it in the VCR, and then we'd watch it, and then she'd come up there when it was over and pop it in again. And so I see that movie, all those songs and all those movies.
That one, Roger Miller. Yeah.
Are cooked into my memory forever. So I just always loved that melody, and I was like, yeah, that would be a nice little steel guitar tune.
Well, I was really impressed. I loved your tone. I loved your choice of songs.
Oh, I appreciate that.
I really liked just the way you play around the tuning. Was that all E9?
Everything's E9. Poinciana was C6.
Okay, all right.
I just try to give myself a little C6 challenge.
Well, it's a really good collection of songs. I was very impressed.
Very kind.
And who played piano on it?
Sean Giddings. Sean Giddings is one of my favorite musicians on this planet, if not my favorite musician. He's piano player, just has unbelievable touch, and I mean I couldn't even begin to describe.
Where is he located?
He's in Austin.
Okay. Did you do the record there or here?
He arranged the whole thing, recorded it all down there, and basically shipped it to me. And so I, just sat in my room for 3 months and made sure I liked it. And so overdubbed everything, basically.
Okay. Well, it's really good. Check it out.
I appreciate it.
And you've got another one in the works?
Yeah, I just recorded another one, with Axel. Axel's on it. We were talking about him earlier. But Axel and Seth Taylor and Greg Garner and Sean Richardson, who was basically my dream band, especially with Sean Giddings as well. So we're doing a version of Jambalaya, the old Hank Williams tune.
All right.
And then maybe some other ones. I'm not sure. It's just fun. It's not. There's no rhyme or reason to actually doing it. I just
the best way to if you want to lose $1 million is make a steel guitar record. It's just. But we do them for each other.
It's more like
it's a place marker.
Record, I will say, the little EP I made has served me, because if someone says, "Well, where can I hear you play?" I just point to it. It's over here. Go look at it.
Yeah.
Over here. This is what I would do if nobody was paying me.
Right. So, with the Post Malone stuff, is there stuff where you're playing real country elements?
Yes. So we do
that's like some of the newer stuff, right?
The newer stuff. The newer record has some straight up, contemporary country stuff where there's not a whole ton of effects, and I'm picking for sure. And I'd say 80% of the show is this hip hop stuff. In which case, I'm just kind of, and the chords are, not too complicated. Okay. So it's more like find any melody I can double.
Okay.
Find any of if there's a big moment, give everybody the big swell.
Right.
But it's more about just kind of trying to weave in and out and make it tasteful, and also try not to make a bunch of hip hop fans uncomfortable with Western sounds. Right. I try not to get too I don't lean into a lot of the bends. It's more just picking melodies and making sort of searing background sounds.
Okay. How big is the band? What is the band?
It's huge. We had so we have acoustic guitar, fiddle, bass, drums. We have two singers, myself, and then Dave Crutcher, who plays keyboards.
Okay.
So it's a pretty large band.
Okay.
You know.
And do you do lines with other people?
Oh, totally. And I sometimes it's funny. I'll be playing the whole show and I'll be having fun. I don't really hold back. I'm not going bonkers or anything,
Right.
but if I hear something cool, I'll go for it. And it's funny how sometimes I'll see clips of it later on the internet and I'll go, the thing that I was doing, it's like, it's not there at all. And I'm like, oh, interesting. Maybe I shouldn't do it there. And then one thing that I thought nobody would listen to is pumping in the mix. So it's interesting.
Is it a breathing thing? Do you change it or do you kind of lock into
I try
a
to keep note of what, like a certain clip, like there's a tune we do called Wow, which is like a pop hit of his that I love. And I know for a fact that I'm loud in that tune. So I'm completely aware of that when we start that tune, that I'm very much up in the mix. But I don't know, you ever like made a tuning mistake and you go back and you hear it in the context of the whole mix and you're like, oh, it's buried deeply there. Thankfully. So
well, yeah, it's all about context, and usually when we're doing something, we're always listening to ourselves louder than everybody else.
Yeah.
And a lot of times you go for one thing, but you end up playing another thing, and you think that's a mistake, when actually it was just perfectly good. So.
Yeah. Well, I think we're hard on ourselves. We tend to beat ourselves up. It's easy to on this instrument, but most people don't. Most people are just wowed that it's happening. Period.
Yeah. When you're doing the Post Malone gig, you use the amp and everything? Or?
No, I don't. I wanted to.
Tell us about this.
At the last minute, I chickened out and I used a Milkman. Do you know the little like amps? I used the black one. I did a little bit of research, and that's the closest thing I could find to a sound I like within the realm of plug-in, not tubes. And
so you have a speaker though on stage?
No.
Okay, so you're saying...
Sorry, the Milkman amp is what it is. It's like a little box. Okay. There's no speaker at all.
Oh, so you're using that for your direct?
Yeah.
And then you're in ears, I guess.
Yes.
So.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So it's a silent stage.
As silent as they can, yeah. I think the bass amp is even just a visual thing.
Okay.
I could be wrong. Countless times I've been like, who's got the best amp model or DI thing? Because a lot of people don't want amps on the stage, which is fine. I love an amp.
Well, I go both ways. I've had it for years. The little Strymon Iridium.
Yeah.
And that's what I do all my stuff at home with.
Really?
And I've got piles of amplifiers and good microphones and all that stuff. And I just see that there's a redundancy in amplifying something just to mic it and then run it through another preamp.
Sure.
But, and steel guitar, as opposed to guitar, is kind of direct works good because it's kind of a clean, generally, pedal steel is kind of a clean, direct sounding instrument. So
when you plug directly into something, there seems to be this like kind of almost like a plasticky film over the tone that I just can't. When I plug into that, it sounds like a metal strings being played through on a guitar, and it's coming. It's all every DI I've ever plugged into. Some of them are convincing, and after a while, I kind of get used to it. Yeah. But there's like this film over it or something. Okay. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No, I know what you're talking about, and we could have group arguments about this. I'm sure that this will light up the internet world.
Sure.
So I go both ways. I like to record direct. Yeah. I love having an amplifier. I've tried every way over the years of recording direct. Mm-hmm. When I first came to Nashville and started doing sessions maybe 30 years ago, steel was a direct instrument.
Really?
Yeah. Using an amp for steel was... Maybe Pete Drake was still doing it, or Lloyd Green, but there was a while there where everybody was recording direct, and then it came back to amplifiers now. Wow. And now, a lot of times, I'll just ask whoever's engineering, and most of these guys are my old friends, and I'll go, how do you want to do it direct? Do you want to do an amp? I'm fine either way. So I'm prepared either way, sure. But I'm very comfortable either way too. Mm-hmm. So Maybe if I was just doing screaming rock and roll on the steel, which I will do, then an amp kind of smooths it out a little bit.
Sure.
You know.
When I got all of the material, I knew what the show was going to be, or I had the track listing, but I didn't get the board tape till about a week and a half before we were. Well, actually, it might have been less than that because all my stuff had to be on a boat going over to Europe. So I think I just remember thinking I only have about a week and a half to learn this 2-hour set, and this is very it's higher stakes than anything I've ever done before. So I was like, I really want to do a good job. So what I would do is I would go through. I had the board tape, and I would start. I actually hacked it up and put it on my phone, so when I go to the gym I could just listen to it and just cook it into my ears, and then go home and play it, and then cook it into my ears and go home and play it, and so on and so forth. So the first thing I would attack would be anything that is like signature. So if there's like a melody thing that everybody does, so like at the top of Wow there's the that I know for sure I'm going to be doing that every single time. And so then during the verse, I'd listen in, and the board tape is also a mushy mix of everything in front of house. So it's also kind of hard to tell what the last guy was doing. So I would just kind of go, okay, well, during the verse, I'll just do some little fills, whatever, or, anything that's kind of appropriate but out of the way. But it's still like, hey, I'm here, I'm the steel guitar guy. And then I would actually just look around immediately to see if anybody was pissed off on the stage. And nobody was, and everybody was super excited about it. But when it comes to solos, I would say they were kind of note for note, or I would try to do them note for note. Sometimes I would end up doing my own thing. But yeah, staying out of the way, and I would say being creative when you can or when you want to, and if you do something that might be a little out of the box, and you kind of look around and see if anybody wants to swatch your wrist, then. But I didn't. From the first show to the last show, I was like, is everything okay? They're like, just more, keep doing it. So I think we have a tendency to maybe try to be a little more reserved and go, well, I don't want to mess anybody up. But I think people just love steel guitar, and they're like, and again, front of house will cut you off if they don't like it. So, but I haven't had anybody tell me not to do anything. I'll get particularly caffeinated or something, and I'll start going for stuff. And I'll get bit every once in a while and maybe stop going for stuff. The hip hop stuff's pretty simple, and the country stuff is fun. It keeps you on your toes and playing. We do that song "Losers." That's a fun one to play over and has a lot of steel in it. We do a tune called Mexico. That's like a train beat, like a tick, 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 tick. And that was a tough one. I don't pride myself on my fast picking. So that's one of the solos where I had to go, all right, I'm going to play the same thing every time. I'm not going to leave this up to, my mood, because my mood could be, I don't know, might send me the wrong direction. Here, I'll show you what we do at the top. It's just a very simple melody. And then I kind of duck into Padville, sort of. Then I'm just kind of just very that stuff that kind of gets buried, and there's imagine a little more reverb on it, but he hops there to a little minor for a second.
So right now you've got one of the coolest gigs on the planet. You're doing that,
It's
playing
super
that.
cool, super fun.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Well, that's a great question. I would love to do this for as long as I can.
Yeah, I'm not encouraging you to quit or anything, but
I don't
where do you
think I
see your own
would.
personal art?
I would. I'm gonna turn 40 in April,
Okay.
and I keep thinking about like when do I get off the road? When does that ever happen? And do I want to? And because I love it, I love the road. I think I'd like to do it maybe less,
Mm-hmm.
especially if I had a family or like a goldfish even to take care of.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd love to end up in the studio. I love to do that. I like to do overdubs. To be honest with you, studio is fun, but I like it more when people send me recordings.
Do you do quite a bit of that?
I do. Well, not as much as I'd like, but every time I work for a few producers that send me stuff
Okay,
on occasion,
cool.
I get so lit up when they say, "Hey, you have time for one?" And I go, "Send it," and I get to plop it into my computer and take as much time as I want with it.
Right,
That's my favorite thing to do.
If you kind of got a workflow figured out, or
Oh yeah, so I mic that thing,
okay,
and then I also run.
and yeah, now you got what, a
Vibrasonic,
Vibrasonic,
which is a twin with a 15.
Yep.
And so I'll run a mic off of that, and then I'll also run another one into my computer, and I get a DI signal, and then I'll pick a blend of the two that just sounds.
All right.
I'll get a sound I like, and then, like I said, I can spend as much or as little time.
When you do something, if somebody sends you a 3-minute song, with steel guitar on, do you send them like one edited finished track, or do you send multi?
I do. If I'm feeling confident about it, I send them one thing. I'll say, hey, just plop this in here.
Okay.
Tell me what you think of it, and if you want to hear anything different, let me know. And I would say 9.5 times out of 10, they go, great, love it.
Okay.
And they Venmo me immediately.
Okay. How about, do you send it dry? Do you put stuff on that?
I send them. I don't send them. If they ask for it, I certainly will. But I put all the effects I have or don't have on there. I send them what I want them to plop into the song.
You're sending the finished product.
I do, yeah.
Okay, all right.
And I don't know. Is that?
Well, I think there's several ways of looking at it. Usually, I love to have reverb when I'm playing, but I reverb is really bothersome if you're trying to get rid of it. So
Sure.
I usually I monitor with more reverb than anybody. It would be embarrassing for anybody to hear how much reverb I like to play with. Yeah, but it's just monitoring. Usually I send it dry. Sometimes that backfires because then they'll put it on the record dry.
I know. Well, that's my worst fear.
Yeah. But that's a tough call, and I think it's something that people need to think about. I've done a lot of home overdubbing, and tried different ways of doing it, and it can be scary.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll put a little delay on there, and but generally, reverb's a scary terror. Everybody's got a different way they want their reverb, so. But you're smart. I see you know what you want, and it works.
I know what I want, and if they want a drier one, I would be compelled to say, let me do it again dry then, because then I have to go, because you never know what reverb could be hiding, and not in a bad way. It's just that if you
it's part of the sound of the instrument. I
agree 1,000%. And if you stripped a take that I did of the effects and reverb, then it's like it's no longer what I thought it was.
Right.
So
okay.
I would have to look at it again and be like, well, maybe this is a slice out of tune or out of time that had makeup on it before.
Yeah.
And now that it doesn't, well, if you want a dry take, I'll do it dry. But
okay.
yeah, it's never really happened, I don't think.
Do you do much playing around town? Just with
little bits here and there. I do little like I'll do like a live session for somebody, and I do a little bit of session work. Done a couple of Music Row things. Nothing. Not a ton of it. I'd love to do it more, but I get little one-off things. I don't have a regular gig though. Yeah. I'd love like a cool little, I'd love a traditional bar gig, where we go do Ray Price covers or something every night. That would be fun.
Yeah.
But I've yet to find that. But I'd love to.
Yeah.
What about you? Do you play around?
Oh, I have some friends we play, a couple times a month. So interesting situations, you know, and sometimes it's people that I'm kind of producing or this or that. So I actually play more around town now than I have in a long time. You know, there was time there where I didn't play. I mean, there was years where I was just buried in the studio.
Really?
And a couple times I went out and took some road gigs.
Did you prefer it that way, or you like coming out?
I think it's healthy to have a mixture. I think you do too much of any one thing. You've got too much of one thing. So I think it's real healthy to get out and try different stuff. Sometimes you learn why you don't want to do it.
Yeah.
So right.
Yeah, I like playing through wedges. I like having 5 guys or girls on stage or whatever and listening to my own guitar coming through a wedge and listen. Like, I love that.
Yeah.
I don't get to do it too often anymore, but
slightly off topic, but you get a phone call late one night, or I've gotten phone calls where we've finished the record, we're about to go to mixing, we want to put steel on a couple of these things.
Right.
We've got a collection of songs. What is the criteria? What makes somebody want to put steel guitar on a certain song or not put steel guitar on a certain song? What are, how do you feel about that?
Like, what's more often than not the vibe of the song that they bring to you?
What is it that makes people think of steel guitar?
It's space. I think people like space, and people like if it's got a lot of room to breathe. Sometimes people want some glue. It can make the whole thing a little more cohesive, and it's just pretty. I think people if they have a pretty melody, and there's enough space for it, they kind of like having the backup of steel guitar in it. That's a great question, actually. I don't know. Sometimes people just want, the line doubled by something else.
Yeah.
But I would say to answer what I think your question is steel guitar enunciates pretty melodies like no other instrument can, I think, or in a particular way that people really appreciate.
You didn't talk about skateboarding.
Oh man.
You a skateboarder?
No, but when I was living, when I was living in Minneapolis in the mid '70s, I played in club gigs. We played 7 nights a week. I was in 8 different bands. We played all the time. From 9 to 1 at night. So I had my days free. Well, Minneapolis has 120 miles of bike paths around the lakes. Well, I got into some friends. And we got in, I used to play hockey, so I was ice skater. I grew up ice skating. I was like you with the Suzuki method. I had ice skates on when I was 3 because my mom used to.
It was just part of the deal.
Yeah, go out with your sisters, go down to the pond. And so we got in, and at that time, they were just developing the polyurethane skateboard wheels.
Oh, yeah.
And so we had a few friends of us where we were ordering skateboard wheels and we were putting them on roller skates. This was before inline skates. Yeah. Inline skates came by a couple years later. So what's your skateboard stories? I mean,
oh man, I just grew up doing it. I just was obsessed with it. And actually, this does tie in, I think, with the steel guitar. Hear me out. Because I think it's uniquely American. I think it's a part of American culture in a lot of ways, but there's also objective and subjective greatness to it. So I think being super talented in one way is important, and you need to know the mechanics, and you need to be able to play in time and in tune, yada yada yada. But you also have to have style and touch and grace, and both of those things mean something. And so you can be really great on one hand, and you can be really great on the other hand, but it's nice to have a big mixture of both.
Okay.
And so, you ever notice that? People say, well, I like listening to this player play, and some people roll their eyes and go, yeah, but he doesn't have any style. Or they go, well, I like watching this guy play. It's like, yeah, he doesn't play the traditional stuff. There's it's an interesting, unquantifiable mixture of both that makes it great. Skateboarding is the same way. Skateboarding is not a sport, technically. I mean, there is the X Games, but nobody watches it because the heart of it is the way something looks and the way someone does something
Right.
versus it has nothing to do with what they're doing. It can. If someone jumps down 35 stairs, it's going to be fun to look at.
Yeah.
But the right guy pushing down the street is also mind-blowing to look at.
Well, to me, I always thought it both ice skating and roller skating, and I imagine skateboarding, there is a point where you feel like you're defying gravity.
Mm-hmm.
And that is just such a great feeling.
Great feeling. It's fun to watch, fun to do. Yeah.
And I retired with a perfect record. I never fell.
Well,
I bet I skated 10, 20,000 miles back in the 70s, and I never fell.
Never fell.
And then I decided, I taught my kids how to skate and stuff when they were young. And then I put them up. I thought, I'm not doing this
Just
anymore.
quit while you're ahead.
I might ice skate. Ice skating, because when you fall on ice, you slide. You fall on asphalt, and you skin.
If you go fast enough, you can slide on asphalt too. I'll tell you that much. I've definitely eaten my fair shit, but I love it.
Well, I think you're right. There's a lot of things. I mean, I haven't done it for a while, but I make like leather bags and industrial sewing machines. I have my own jeans and make things with a sewing machine, and I can do that for 2 days, not touch an instrument, and it's like I've been practicing the whole time. It's the same part of the brain, and I imagine that can the skateboarding thing is still, you're using probably a lot of the same.
It's mind over matter and efficiency and economy of motion and all of the same things that make you go, I'm getting fast and good and kind of stylish with this.
Yeah.
And like that applies to.
Well, there's always that feeling when you hit the groove, when you hit the pocket.
Oh yeah.
And that's why you do it, because it feels good.
And keep chasing that.
Yeah.
That's a 1,000% valid point. Yeah.
There you go. We made the connection. Well, I don't know. I think we've kind of talked about most everything we need to talk about. And you're an interesting cat. I like what you're doing.
Thank you.
And I really like to see somebody like you have a good gig like that, because
that means a lot.
Congratulations.
Thank you, man.
It's well deserved, and I think you got a good future. You're a young guy.
Youngish.
And
I'm getting up there.
Yeah, and you got tone in your hands. So,
I appreciate that.
Sam Kossler.